The first time, of course, he took over after Oret Bruce Golding resigned. I see someone in the chat saying, what is George ranting about? It's not a rant, man. It's not a rant. As a host, you're compelled to deliver a strong opening to a program such as this. And that was my strong opening. It wasn't a rant. And then, no, I'm not wishing for that. But, God hasn't blessed me. Well, it's not blessing. Or maybe, I don't know. But God hasn't made me with the ability to hate. I don't know. Is there anybody I hate? I hate, no. Nobody or anything that I hate. I dislike some things and some people, but I don't hate anybody or anything. Yeah? But I say that because some of them people in the chat, boy, let me tell you what I mean before we start wonder. So me there now doing this program, a man in the chat asks me, George, Champions League start today, who Manchester United playing? No, you tell me. If you hate the man then, but me can't hate. That was a good one. That was a very good one. Very, very good question. Well, I tell you, Manchester United, the struggle is real. Yeah? Anyway, back on track now. So, Holness for a fourth time today. Holness for a fourth time today. And as we prepare to witness the Holness inauguration, I say to the listeners that we can't skip over something important that happened on election day. And this important something that happened on election day involved the PNP candidate in Southeast St. Elizabeth, the chairman of the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation, the mayor of Spanish Town, Norman Scott. And it was during Cliff's shift on election day that he made contact with a lady who claimed on election day that she had been slapped in the face by Mayor Scott so forcefully that her glasses broke. And she spoke publicly about the incident. Now, you would have known that the police have charged Mayor Scott with assault occasioning bodily harm. And I'm bringing the issue up because it was an anomaly. And of course, the issue would have been brought up regardless of who had done it, of who did it. Whether it would have been whether it was a UIC candidate, a JPP candidate, just an independent candidate, whichever P, it would have been cause for mention because there were about 189 candidates nominated for election day, 189 thereabouts. And the only candidate involved in an incident like the one in Southeast St. Elizabeth was Norman Scott. So, by any measure, it is a newsworthy thing, especially because criminal charges have now been laid. And I have lined up the account of the lady about what happened and Norman Scott's defense of himself. And I think it's sufficient to just remind you what the lady said happened to her, and of course to play for you what Mayor Scott says happened in his defense. Because at the end of that, there's a development, there's a narrative that is emerging that I questioned yesterday and got some information on. And I think it would be useful to share the information with you. Let's hear the lady speaking about what happened to her on election day.
I was working in the PD. I heard a commotion outside. I came out and asked what was happening. They told me that Mr. Scott is overstaying his time given on the premises. I asked them to leave, to give him time to leave and not create anything. I was trying to explain to him that I'm going to ask them to leave. I raised my hand to quiet them so Mr. Scott could hear what I was saying. As soon as I raised my hand to the rest of people that was there, he hit me in the side of my face, the right side of my face, and broke my glasses. The glasses I was wearing fell to the ground.
Hold on. Mr. Scott, is this Norman Scott, the
Mr.
PNP
Norman
candidate?
Scott, the PNP candidate.
For Southeast St. Elizabeth?
Yes, sir.
He slapped you?
Slapped me across my face and broke my glasses.
This is after you raised your hand to do
Try
what?
and make peace. Try and make peace. To calm the laborites that were there. To try and make peace. Ask them to let him leave quietly.
And after he slapped you, what happened?
After he slapped me, because I was talking to him, explaining to him, I said, Mr. Scott, I am trying to make peace and you slap me. He said, I will not be intimidated by anybody.
And what happened next? How was it resolved? How did it end?
My daughter came up to Mr. Scott and said to him, you hit my mother? And he said, I'll show you something before the end of the day.
Oh?
The police officers and soldiers then took him back to his vehicle, and I left, and I'm now at the Junction police station.
All right. So Julie there telling Cliff on election day that she was at the Junction police station giving him that interview. Nor you have Mayor Scott speaking in his defense. Let's hear from the mayor.
Municipal police station. Leaving that to the second one, I laid in a green outfit, I suspected one of the JLP operatives, ran around and said, you're an EOJ officer and the candidate is hugging you. This is one of my political liaison officers. We didn't answer her because we expected the EOJ people to correct her. So I proceeded to enter the polling station. I held a gentleman right in front of me and blocked me. My security detail came and tried to allow me to pass. By this time, a host of GLP persons converged. So in trying to move myself in, my hand would have caught a young lady. And that's about it.
So, based on what you're saying, no, but how would your hand have caught her? Was it
because because I was trying to get free myself into the polling station.
Oh.
They have converged on me. A number of them are over. I even spoke now. But my security detail was there. And so in trying to remain into the polling station from outside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I'm hearing that her glasses were broken.
I don't know about it. I don't know anything about any glasses.
Uh-huh.
I don't know anything about that.
Alright, so did you interact with her after that?
I had no interaction with anyone except trying to enter the polling station and the elderly gentleman blocked the doors, put out the door, blocked the door.
Mm-hmm.
So my security detail in protecting me to get inside. And because of the numbers of them that converge, of course, you have to be physically trying to maneuver yourself.
So that's Norman Scott, the mayor of Spanish Town, the PNP candidate in Southeast St. Elizabeth in the September 3 general election, speaking in an interview there with CVM TV's Andre Jebinson, explaining his side of events. Now, this matter is before the court, so I'm limited in what I can say at this time. And even if the matter had not yet gone to court, given what it was, it would have been serious enough and could have reached there, would have been reserved. But here's what I'll say. Mayor Scott's defense has said that I've accused the police of, well, let me not say that, say it that way. The police are being asked to explain why is it that they have not acted on a report by Mayor Scott that he was the victim of assault. So notwithstanding the incident that he has been charged for, the allegations against him, they say, yes, but our man, Mayor Scott, gave the police a report himself. So how come nothing has materialized from the report that he has given? After the break, I'll tell you what my understanding is based on checks I've made about that very important question. This is Cliff Hughes on 9. So here's my last little bit on this Norman Scott issue now, given the question his defense have asked about the report he gave to the police and what the police have done with that report. So Julie, the lady in question, who says she was struck by Mayor Scott in full view of several people inside a polling station in Southeast St. Elizabeth, says she's a 3-time stroke survivor. She had severe migraines after her glasses, valued at over $100,000, damaged when she was struck by Mayor Scott. Those are her allegations. The police, having taken her report, have leveled criminal charges against the mayor of Spanish Town, the PNP's candidate in Southeast St. Elizabeth. So that line from Scott's team about how is it that he gave a report alleging assault and that he was the victim of assault and nothing has come of it. It is my understanding that, and I was given a timeline, the lady who was assaulted, Julie, filed the report less than an hour later at the Junction Police Station, which would have been on September 3. I've been made to understand that Mayor Scott was informed by the police that he should make himself available so that proceedings could be instigated against him. I've been made to understand that Mayor Scott did not make a report to the police until about 7 days after the incident. And that report came after he was told by the police that he would be charged. So all I can say is it appears as if, having considered the substance of Mayor Scott's report, the police, as they've done in millions of situations before, decided that there was no ground, or there were no grounds, or was no ground on which to proceed with the prosecution. That's the only way to interpret it as a layman, and I am a layman in this instance. Many people go station, as we'd say in common now. You go a station, go file a report. For every report filed, someone isn't charged, because the police do their own assessment and apply their own techniques and decide, well, all right, there's no reason to charge here. So the fact of Mayor Scott making a report does not equate automatically into a charge being leveled against the person who is the subject of his complaint. And that's how it appears. The police considered the woman's statement and found reason to charge Mayor Scott. The police considered Mayor Scott's statement and have up to this point found no reason to charge the woman. Moving right along. So I don't see the efficacy in putting that line on the table, especially as, critical point, I've been reliably informed that his report to the police about being assaulted did not come until about 7 days after the incident, and that it came only after he was told by the police that he would be charged. That's what I know. Yeah? Anyway, it's 10:35. So I think it's best to go to the phone lines. On this day, a historic day where one Andrew Michael Holness joins Percival James Patterson as the only Prime Minister or Chief Minister in this country's history to be sworn in 4 times to serve as Prime Minister. Who do I have, Kevin? C. Go again, Kevin? C. Good morning,